In Pitch Perfect, a college freshman is coerced into joining her school's all-girl a cappella group.
Oh boy, the bad boys of a cappella have just gotten badder.
You girls are awesome. Lee Horrible, I Hate You, Kill Yourselves. Girl Powers!
This is a list of all of the songs that we have ever performed.
There's nothing from this century on here. It's not enough to be good. We need to be different.
I was looking forward to seeing Pitch Perfect because I thought it looked really funny from the trailer, but I did worry that maybe all the best parts were in the trailer and it was going to end up being a lame movie. I'm happy to say that's not the case. It actually was an awesome movie. I had a smile on my face the whole time. It had lots of great musical numbers, a cappella numbers. I really enjoyed those. And most importantly, the movie feels like it knows exactly what it is and it's not trying to be anything else. It just is very aware, this is the level we're at, let's have fun on our level. Now, let's not try to be something we're not, and that is so important to this movie being good. So let's get a little more in-depth with Pitch Perfect, starting off with the writing, which I thought was very good, surprisingly good, because, like I said, the movie is aware of what it is, and that has to do with the writing and the directing, I think, and it doesn't try to add in, drama, major drama, or like a major romance story or anything like that. It has its share of romance, but it doesn't go over the top. It restrains itself and remembers, this is the type of movie we are. Don't suddenly turn into something else, which is what I think a lot of movies, especially comedies, tend to do, and this one did not do that. I thought it handled the different aspects, the comedy, the romance, very well, leaning, of course, more towards comedy, like I said. And another important thing is that it wasn't corny. There was not a lot of corny humor. I would say there was maybe a couple of little things here and there, like one thing specifically that will always jump out in my mind as a corny thing from this is when Anna Kendrick tells Brittany Snow, they're in the shower and she's like, I can't look at you until you cover your junk. But let's move on to the directing, which, I don't have any bad things to say about it, but also nothing too great. The one main good thing I have to say is that the movie felt like it had room to breathe. It didn't feel stifled, It didn't feel like someone was directing every moment. It felt like the director took a step back in a few spots, which I think is so important, which can be just as important as actually directing, not directing. I think that's huge. So it definitely felt like that, and I think that was hugely important for the movie. So that's the main good thing, but I would say the only problem is it just didn't really have much of a style to it, and this is a movie that I think would have benefited so greatly from cool transitions, like musical transitions and digital, like it turns into like an equalizer as a transition to the next scene. And it's weird because, if I remember correctly, the intro credits and maybe the end credits, or both, or neither, I don't know, had that kind of effect, like a cool effect like that, and I think that should have been utilized more in the movie. Also, I thought the sense of humor in the movie was very interesting because not only was it kind of all over the place in terms of sophistication, but while this is definitely a mainstream movie, or at least it seems to be to me, it had a lot of humor that I think would go over many people's heads. So I thought that was interesting, but in terms of it being all over the place, you've got vomit humor, which was crazy bizarre, like that was totally out there and sick, especially like the vomit angel, that's all I'll say. And I did say earlier that there was one aspect of the movie that I thought was great that was not ruined or anything in any trailers, and that is the Asian girl. I'm not going to say what happens with her, but I thought her character was genius and hilarious. And acting-wise, I was also looking forward to the movie because of the cast. I love Anna Kendrick, I think she's adorable. I like Brittany Snow as well, and I love Rebel Wilson. And I thought everybody did a great job. I think that everybody seemed like they were having a lot of fun, which is, once again, that's a main thing to this movie, is that everything felt very natural, like they were really having fun making this movie. That goes for the directing, the writing, and the acting. And while I thought everybody in the cast was fine, there's one major thing that I'd like to mention that I thought was very bizarre. Elizabeth Banks and John Higgins, they play sort of like these announcers that are off to the side watching every single a cappella competition, but they are totally just like thrown in. Nobody ever acknowledges them. They are one-sided. They see everything that's going on, but nobody sees them in their little booth. And I think that's because it was like shot at the last minute for an hour, like they were walking by and someone was like, hey, you want to be in the movie? It's so random and it just doesn't feel connected at all. I thought they were funny, and they also seemed like they were having a lot of fun as well, which I do think is great, but I just thought that was worth pointing out. I thought that was so funny. It seems like they just did that really quickly at the last second, and that's it. But overall, I really enjoyed Pitch Perfect. I do think that it could have had a little bit more of a style to it, some cool transitions and stuff like that. I sound like such an idiot. It could use some cool transitions, but you know what I mean. I loved all the acapella numbers. In fact, I might even see it again just for that because I really thought they were great. I really appreciate that the movie felt natural, felt like it had room to breathe, and it felt like everyone was having a good time making it. So let me know in the comments what you thought of Pitch Perfect. Let me know if you agree with me on any account or if you completely disagree and you thought it was terrible. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody doesn't like this movie. It's totally just a silly movie, but I really did enjoy it. Let me know what you thought of the humor of the movie. Let me know what your favorite part of the movie was. Let me know what you think of the Elizabeth Banks and John Higgins thing. Do you agree or disagree with me on that? Did you notice? Let me know anything that you want about Pitch Perfect, and that's pretty much it.